Hello everybody. It is a dark and stormy night, and that means it is absolutely perfect for showing off Deadbolt. This is a really fun game. It's by Hopoo Games, who did Risk of Rain, and it's a sort of action-y, runny, twitchy, shooty kind of affair. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I figured you might like to see it as well. So let's jump right in. I'm going to casually go through a little bit, just talk about things. We're going to play a normal game as opposed to a hard game to begin with. I'll show off hard a little bit later, but hard only unlocks after you've beaten normal, and to really get a good feeling for the pacing of everything. Let's first off just enjoy this fantastic opening theme, and the fireflies or embers or whatever they are flying around. We'll jump right in. This is a game where it does well to pay attention to things. They've put a lot of effort into the music, into the graphics, into everything that goes to tell the story. And so just pay attention and tell me what you see, because again, they don't really spoon feed you the narrative. There's a lot of story going on here that we don't really have access to, and I would love to know your own interpretation of things as we go along. We're very en media res right now. All we know is we're this skeleton man. We can run around, we can open doors, we can knock, although that doesn't really do anything down here. And we can go upstairs. Highlighted for us. Notice how the music changes between where you go places? That's a touch I really like. We get some knives, and you can see in the top left corner up here. You can just change around by using the mouse wheel if you're on a mouse. And sure enough, we can down him. There are light switches we can turn off. And down he goes. So, we are in the business of re-deadifying the undead. You can see these guys appear to be zombies, although they're very much more urban gangster-style zombies than your traditional walkers or crawlers or whatever. We are very fragile in this game. Even though we are the Reaper, we will go down in one hit from absolutely stinking anything. We can take cover. I'm not going to use the cover mechanic too much. It's nice that it's there. I found that it's better to be more mobile and not get tied down under cover, but that's fine. Anyway, also, I have no idea. I guess these things are supposed to be fire alarms, maybe? That's all I can work out. They are absolutely everywhere in the game, and so if somebody else has a different idea as to what they are, I guess they could be speakers that are playing the music? That'd be kind of a fun idea, although I don't actually know that to be true. Anyway, this guy up here has obviously got a good shot of the door we're going to be coming up, and you see it's telling us to hold right trigger, which allows us to fling our weapons around. If you throw a weapon and it doesn't hit an enemy, then no big deal. Watch this. He comes up, he sees me, and he's about to shoot. But if you turn off the lights, then he can't really see you. So that is excellent for lining up your shots. Headshots are very damaging in this game, so that's always what we're going to want to do. Notice our targeting reticule here gets that big circle around it as we move farther away. That's obviously how accurate the gun is. And so if you're, from right here, that's pretty reasonable, but if you're shooting all the way across the level, you may go for a headshot and get nothing at all, or a body shot or something like that. You can shoot out lights, which is nice, including street lights outside, and obviously the lights don't work after that. And just in general, you've got better night vision than whatever enemies there are, so you're going to want to keep the lights out and stay in the dark. It's very obvious if you're in the light of the dark, which is nice. There's really only 2 light levels. Furthermore, you can see that we had 2 weapons before. When you enter into a new area, you only keep the weapon that you had selected, and it gets an ammo refill, which is nice. Now, there's no door here, but there is a vent. One of our Reaper powers are, if you watch, we flick a cigarette lighter, a little Zippo thing, which is nice, and then we can turn into smoke and travel through grates. That's very useful. Now, here's this guy here. If we step into the light, he'll see us, which is a shame, so we can call him over, and down he goes. Now, we could travel right downstairs and enter into a shootout here, or we could flank the enemies. And now we're getting into what I really appreciate about the game is it's like a big puzzle. A big, figure out how to do it yourself kind of thing. Now, I think they hear me if I open the door, so if I retreat back into the shadows, you can see 2 body shots to take down one of these guys. but a single headshot gets the job done. If noises are close enough to an enemy, they will get alerted and come to talk to you. That was a melee zombie there. Now he is expecting me to be there, so I can kind of flank him. I could escape, although my goal in this mission is to kill all the undead, so down he goes. And there you have it. That's most of the mechanics of the game, right in this little intro tutorial level. The game is obviously a little speedrun friendly, so I did that much slower than I normally would. 4 out of 5 stars. That's probably because I didn't get as good accuracy as I might have otherwise. 5-star ranks seem to almost totally depend on accuracy. So here we are back at our house, and there's a giant, almost burned out candle talking to us, which is, you know, that's fine. Light switch doesn't work. We apparently either just moved in or haven't really unpacked ourselves well. We've got a chair to sit in. We can sit and talk. And there's a table where we can choose mission and look at achievements. We don't really have either of those yet. I'll also direct your attention to our board up there where we store our guns. All we've got so far is our 32mm that we used in the last level. So let's sit and talk. This is so cool. I like it. You talk to the fire. Thank you, fire. Free them from their jails. I guess that's us. That's good advice, because we are so fragile. If you get more than one, it can be hard to take them down, especially 2 gun zombies. That's a bad recipe. And yeah, this is our job. We help zombies towards the afterlife. Now, as we get new missions, these will obviously fill in. And then the paperclip's a little different for each, and you can see that technically we're on case number 1. And for noisy neighbors, we've just got to kill everybody. We start off with these zombie enemies. We'll get more as the time goes on. I really do like the enemy design in this game. They seem just whatever now. I mean, there's just pipe zombies and gun zombies. It's basic, and we'll get more as we go along. Check out that candle over there. That's interesting. We had one back in our apartment, and you don't normally think of candles being in a place. Later, we'll be able to change our weapon loadout from the car, although we've only got our 32 for now. Notice also that if we wanted to, we can take the, see us in the mirror there? We can take the sewer levels, or the, whatever, the gratings to the very top. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Wait for him to turn his back, and blink. Now, Gun Zombie heard that because he was close. And when he gets mad, the other 2 are going to hear that. They're going to storm upstairs in a second, so let's turn off the light so we can kind of get the drop on them. I think I got the headshot on that second one there. Body shots, obviously, like I said, don't do a whole lot of damage. These enemies are weak, so they'll still go down in 2 body shots. We'll be going up against guys later that body shots basically do nothing for, and you're really going to want to go for headshots. So, this guy, we can just sneak up on him. Technically, if you don't aim first with a gun equipped, you punch. Almost never really a good idea. I mean, it's a fine backup if you're totally out of ammo, but, you know, you don't want to be punching against these guys. Here we go. Nobody else was alerted by that. Down goes they. There we go. You're quicker than the zombies, which is nice. You can almost always get the drop on them. Notice also, there's 2 places we could go up here to sort of ambush these zombies. So there's just a lot of options in every level. It's a really fun way to play it. We could go Rambo. I tend to like to go more sneaky, but that's entirely up to us. Notice we got 2 achievements there. Professional. And I think we took a long time, and that's why we got the low score there, because we certainly had good enough accuracy. Notice we've got our thing here. And we can turn off our music, which is kind of nice. Let's turn that back on. The music, again, is just very, very good for this game. That's something I really appreciate. We'll do a few more levels here this first time. Interesting. So, we uncover this story slowly, as I say, and at least a part of it is there's this drug that the zombie underground is trafficking around. We've got to go find out what it is. We're also going to encounter a new enemy type here, the bouncer. They all have kind of that Peanuts adult, voice or whatever in there. That's fine. As they, indicated, the bouncers are quite tough, so we're going to want to deal with them with care. Also, we get our first secondary weapon. Well, I guess we got knives in the intro level, but here's the hammer. The hammer is great. You might have noticed that turlet there means we can just jump right to the bouncer if we so desire. But let's take things methodically, because, spoiler alert, we're going to have to kill all the undead. That's not true of every level, but it is for these first couple. Okay. If we open this door, I can get the drop on him. He's going to run at me. I'll switch to the hammer and take him down. If you just time things a little right, you can always out-melee the melee zombies. They're not too dangerous. Now, he saw me, which isn't so great. Watch this. If I go up, he sees me and points at me. However, if I go up and hit the lights and escape, he stops. If I hit the lights but stayed up there, then he knows to shoot at me. But, there we go. He's much slower on the draw if the lights are out. Now, if these lights were on and I opened up this door right here, this guy would see me and attack. So that means you want to have the lights off, open that up, and you get your choice of sniping. A lot of this game is about sort of recognizing what's going on in your environment and planning for it. Down goes he. Now, I could actually just go down here and start battle with the bouncer right away, but I'll show off one of the last things. Check out this microwave. We'll set the timer to go off in 3 seconds, position ourselves with the hammer, and down goes he. I did that in particular to get the achievement for taking out the bouncer with melee. It's 5 hits with the hammer, but the hammer staggers him, so there's really no danger unless somebody else, comes across you. I have to turn off all the lights in a level. I don't know, it's just a little weird thing I do. Press E to inspect drugs, and we saw them. Isn't the ash really cool? I like how it's pretty and it, glows blue and has those little flecks coming off of it. Here's our last 2 guys. Let's find out how that sawn-off works. Pretty well, as it turns out. It's a good weapon. As you'd expect from a shotgun, it's more of a short-range deal than a long-range deal. It's also important to note, when you finish a level, your car turns on and lights up everything unless you close doors to cut off the light source. That can be a problem in later levels, so you just want to keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm taking things slow, so we're not getting those 5-star rankings, but that's fine. We don't really need them. Notice the door is open after this level, and we can move down to the docks. And here, this is Charon, however you want to say that. It's the ferryman of the dead, and he sells us weapons. And boy, there's a lot we can choose from. Because we got all those achievements, we can get a pretty good loadout just as is. And because I'm doing a Let's Play of this game, I'm going to go through this pretty much just in order. So we're going to go for Death and Taxes first. And buying a weapon from him gives us some more souls, which is nice, gets us up to 30. Can I afford? Nope, 40, 80, and 80. So I'm going to go with the hammer. The knife and the hammer, you already know what they are, so I don't feel like I need to show those off as much. I shut out the light above him instantly. That's just a weird little superstition that I have. Let's hear some city noises for a while. Notice Death and Taxes shows up over here in my guns list now. Death and Taxes is not my favorite gun. One of the few real criticisms I might have of this game is a lot of the weapons you can buy. Like, I've heard of, there's 3 main camps people fall into. One is you don't need to buy any weapons, your basic loadout is fine, and that's certainly true. You can get through the entire game using just your 32, although I don't know why you'd care to. The second is, there's a lot of people who like to buy the most expensive weapon, which is the scythe. And I'm not anti-scythe, I'm just not as pro-scythe as a lot of the people seem to be. It's fine, it's a melee weapon. It doesn't do as much damage as some other weapons do, and it's a melee weapon, and a lot of the enemies have guns, so, I'm sure if you're great with it, then that's great, you're great with it. My favorite is the Headhunter, and we'll talk about more when we get that. It is just bananas, but Death and Taxes is fine too. The only 2 sure things in life is the Death and Taxes. The writing is very good in this game. It's quite minimalistic, but I really appreciate that. Okay. This is a bold-faced lie. The right has more weapons and the left has more zombies. So I don't know what they're talking about there. And there you can see. Oh, I should have pointed out, when we sold the weapon, you could see his boat fill up with souls, which I thought was a really neat touch. You can also just sit without talking if you want to, just to kind of look comfy. I'm not really sure what the aesthetic we're going for is. I guess we've just got a big old, I don't know, tan jacket on. I don't know what we're trying to look like. 5-star actually doesn't get you any more souls, incidentally. We're not missing out on any souls by that. The only two things you get souls for are level completion and achievements. So, let's burn all of the drugs. That will certainly get the attention of their leader. Get Death and Taxes and our hammer out. Death and Taxes, as you can see, has more... I like doing a little dance here with it before we get started. Death and Taxes has a lot of ammo. It's just, you know, it's like a twin gun, more ammo kind of thing. Notice there's a ton of zombies over here on the left side where they said there were fewer zombies, and fewer zombies and more weapons over here on the right. Again, I have no idea what was going on with that, but that's fine. Now, what happens if a zombie is sitting on the turret and we go up through? Boom! We not only get an achievement, we're also -1 zombie. This is the first level, incidentally, where we are not required to down all of the zombies. Let's try something here. There we go. Now we're going to wait for him to put down his gun, come to investigate. So we get into range there, where we can light the drugs on fire, hide, and... there we go. Down goes they. If we rush over in time, we can hit him with the hammer just as he goes down. Now, another nice thing in this level is they give you a whole bunch of free knives. I mean, you get a bunch of knives. In fact, let's have a little fun here. Just like The Simpsons says, happy is the man who has 2 knives. Boom! Knife throwing is very good. I don't actually think there is any difference between throwing a hammer and throwing a knife. And, you know, this may just be superstition on my part. It may not actually be that the hammer staggers people more, but I swear I think it does. I always prefer a hammer to a knife if I have the choice for brawls and such. Because of the setup here, if this light is on, it really goes far into the other room, so there is no hiding if that center light is on. Now, I can take out this guy silently with a knife throw. It's utterly silent. That is super nice, because now I get my choice of just, you know, hello, guy. Now, they both heard that, which is good for me, actually, because I want them coming up here. That's Death and Taxes kind of thing. Just fill the area with lead. And down he goes. You can see we actually have everything cleared now, and we're just allowed to leave anytime we want to. But I don't see any reason not to exit in style. Down we go. Long-range shooting with the shotgun's always a little iffy, but, you know, it worked out fine for us this time. 2 out of 5 stars. Terrible rating, but that's fine. Again, I can go back and show us how to get some good star ratings later. I'll show some general tips for that. We're just kind of casually walking through. And here we have what I think is going to be our last mission of this first update. We get our first mini-boss. We're going to fight Puff. A man with a heart cannot live with me. That'll be Puff. Somebody who has some characteristic cannot live with me is something that we'll hear our employer, the Fire, say a lot of the time. And Puff apparently keeps an old machine gun around, so that's nice. The Tri-Deads. Interesting. So now we're getting hits. You know, it does seem a little sinister, us taking our cues from a big roaring fire and candles everywhere. I'm not going to talk too much about the story, but I will sort of give one spoiler that I really appreciated, which is, we have 40 souls now. I think we can get our next secondary weapon. Death and Taxes accuracy is not so good. Yeah, we can get the mouse gun. It's awful, but I might show it off. I'm going to try to show off all the weapons, which I'm going to have to use multiple saves, because you cannot get enough points in one game to buy all the weapons, even if you do absolutely everything, which is a little strange, but that's fine. Yeah, sure, I'll show off the mouse gun. Why not? Notice all the souls on there. That's kind of a fun touch. We'll just show off things in order. All right, and there it shows up on our particle board. All right, time to take out Puff. Normally, in other levels, or in other sets of levels, the mini-boss is in the center area here. You get him one early. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll actually go to the center one, so we do half the levels. That's fine. Yep. He's concerned. Everybody's been mentioning Roland, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. Us. As soon as you fire the first shot in a weapon, you can no longer go back to your car and change out your loadout. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, the 25 mouse gun, I don't know. Like, look, it's not really that good, but, you know, it's fine. It's whatever. That'll be the machine gun down there. Down goes he, and hello. Goodbye. There's actually an achievement for beating this level without using the Tommy gun, but I don't see any particular reason to do that. Now, watch this. Oh, I was really counting on attracting more attention than that. And down they go. Here go these two. These are the two big bruisers. And they are why it is nice to have that Tommy gun. Luring people into your area of attack and then flanking them, these are the tactics of winners in this game. Now let's get Puff, let Puff get a little bit closer, and down he goes. He drops a 10mm pistol, which is a bit more powerful than a 9mm, and also pierces through enemies, so that's really nice. Alright, what's Puff got? Loose papers, pamphlet, and an embossed coin. Puff, knock that off. There we go. So Puff didn't seem like he was having a good time. They called him a man with a heart, so presumably he was just kind of a nice guy. He was the accountant of the gang, and you know, that doesn't cut it in this harsh world. If you're going to be the accountant, you're going to get shot down. You're going to get destroyed. Sorry to say it, Puff. I thought we were going to get our very first 5-star on that one, but they're coming. Don't you worry. I'll get enough points for souls and everything. Glad to hear that we're doing well. Oh, hellhounds. Oh, boy. It's good to keep in mind, hellhounds are ferocious enemies basically throughout the entire game. I have played this game quite a lot, so I'm making these earlier ones seem a bit more easy than they would be for a new player. There's a lot of trial and error and a lot of death. You would probably die even in that first tutorial mission. I certainly did, and so that's not something to feel bad about. We're sort of breezing through these earlier bits here. Although again, I normally like to have... I'm going to put away that mouse gun. Take out my hammer, please. Actually, do they give you a hammer? No, it just looks like a bunch of knives, so that's fine. I'll keep that. Now, I could have also done some flanking here, but that's fine. Turn off the lights. And there we go. Death and Taxes isn't terrifically accurate, but if you get lucky, it can be nice. As you might have guessed, this is where you can flank to, so that's a handy little technique. And this one just allows for easy getting around. Now, if you've noticed what I did, you will have instantly noticed the microwave, which indeed lets you call down people into our little area of trap there, and that attracts his attention. Now, as long as he's coming alone, that's good, because that means we can melee him. Whoops! I usually stuns him. I have no idea why that happened. That is super weird. Alright, well, we'll do things the alternate way now. Come on out. That's just part and parcel of this game. I will say, it's pretty frustrating to do big, long speedruns in this game, and in fact, the hardest achievements in the game are these twin achievements of first off beating the entire game in under an hour, and second off beating the entire game not dying at all. And those can just be, they can be real frustrating because there's weird little quirks and eccentricities. Things are very tightly strung in this game, and by that I mean the distance of a few feet, which corresponds to, like, you know, half an inch or so, can be the difference between people noticing you and getting aggroed and not that. And, you know, that can be enormously important. Because if a bunch of people get aggroed on you, then they will all come and murder you. Really thought I was going to be able to take him out there. Alright. Ranged is the way to go, I see. Come on down. Anybody want to come down? Oh, we're happy just staying up there, huh? Alright. Let's get out the SMG. There we have it. That stunned them enough. Hello. Bye. And there we go. So, there was our first death of the game after I was talking about how we were just going to breeze through. Just goes to show some of the little quirks that happen sometime. It's not a problem. Deaths are, as you can see, they just start you back at the beginning of the level. Levels are never that long, so it's not a big deal. But that was our first episode of Deadbolt. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will continue to tune in and watch, and I will catch you guys next time.